문제는 다음 그 양식 문제는 좀 거체. 근데 되네야 그냥 대화 장소시야가 저기 생겨나야 거체. 그래라. 근데 자가스네 잡줄라 배네 다들 바디네 그 제로도 도디시아니 돈제성만.
My greetings to everyone here. I have been asked to speak very briefly about the life story of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I understand that time is of essence here. But I hope to touch upon the three key points. Number one, I want to talk a little bit about His Holiness' birth back in Tibet. And then I want to talk about a little bit of his education and then his coming into exile in India.
영생 문제 주저가 되는 소 통계 현역 되잖아. 이 벽 제거 리듬지 카디를 세다 토구조 리듬지 이 지다 문제 시야야 다 그게 세분도 다 봐셔 뭐야 돼 다리 디토알니 리듬지 그 사실 하죠라 이네 쇼거지세 함블라도지 간지 다만문제를 지금 소리를 기나 소디나네 이 가사서 중조 뭐뭐 다 봐시고도 가리나 소소 그 몸을 야고 담나 이 소디나 손제 가리는 도다니 농거 세서 리듬을 뭐지 손제 패네 이네 미게 그 영거를 뭐지 중유 롱바다 이네 종바 이네 생각의 가가 이네 소소 전에 이네 디테일간에 뭐지 쉐브레스.
After the great 13th Dalai Lama had passed away, it was time of the great Tibetan region called Rating Rinpoche, and it was his main responsibility to find the reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama, which would be the 14th. And what he did was, of course, there are so many stories to talk about, but I just want to point out that he sent, with his delegation, he went to the south of Lhasa, capital city of Tibet, where there is what we call a sacred vision lake. So we can pray and see everything that is pretty much, I should say, shown on the surface of the water. So he prayed to be able to find the authentic reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama, and he and his delegation were able to see all these auspicious signs on the surface of the water. Basically, it showed where the 14th Dalai Lama would be born, in what kind of hamlet in the northeastern part of Tibet, and the color of the roof of the family house and everything. So based upon those signs, that we were able to find the great 14th Dalai Lama.
룸베이야 통과다가 리모트 수도 좋아하는 리모트 체체 이네 나사 수페네 룸메 먼저 시 아니 카운제라 카운제 간제 제제싱에 카솜 시가 단단 룸메 페인데 세라 계산은 시야 대체 비냥도 종기다 예지고 종자세 인사에 그거 세다 코너스 페네 이네 룸메 그게 다들 리는 거 수도 좋아하는 그게 룸바다 이네 종바다 any single gaga any professor any people la mutina ya nasa is the
So when the great Rating Rinpoche then was the region of Tibet, along with his delegation, went to this sacred vision lake to the south of Lhasa, Tibet. He saw so many auspicious signs on the surface of the water, and he commissioned an artist to paint out everything they saw on the surface of the water so that they would have a clear record of the signs depicted. And so then afterwards, he sent a couple of delegations to different parts of Tibet, particularly to the northeastern part of Tibet called Amdo. Okay? And when the delegation there, this delegation was headed by a holy, Rinpoche from Sera monastery called Kisang Rinpoche. And when they reached the northeastern part of Tibet called Amdo, so they were able to see exactly all the things that were painted out, and based upon the vision of Rating Rinpoche. And then based upon that, they were able to recognize the great 14th Dalai Lama, and then invited him to his palace in Lhasa, central Tibet.
today don't go to Google, she's Paris. Today, Google told the name of Lhasa Sanaga, Pocapazala, Dinshiki, any setting of the ship.
So when the delegation reached the northeastern part of Tibet, at that time they found this little boy about 4-year-old who would be the 14th Dalai Lama, and it took about 2 more years, that would be 6 years old, for him to be able to be brought to Lhasa, capital city, and enthrone him on the throne of the Dalai Lama.
In the Tinebo, this is Juxunju Kishaka, the Nejata Pearl Jidani, Tudu Sangasinga, Tejasonda. Any Karsaka, Undisogi, and the Gardani, and the young woman said, I are shooting in the Jovia Nasa, the Telan station Yados, and the take out the Jada and Jivote Tada, Tamukas, in the Tada was by Joe Position, in the Political shooting in the Utia Nasa.
So when the boy Dalai Lama was brought to Tibet, and a few years afterwards, the situation in Tibet became very tense, politically and socially otherwise. And at that time, the Tibetan regent Tata Rinpoche was there, but all the people of Tibet now they wanted the young Dalai Lama to be their leader and to be in charge. So the Tata Rinpoche had to resign from his regency, and the boy Dalai Lama, who is just a teenager, he was asked to guide the people, and so he had to take responsibility for his country and people at such a young age.
Karsa, going to general videos on any single of your cars on it, any things of soda, not so the magician, haven't come just yet, and Tamjo now. In Titolia, so you get out of any things of soda, any cable kings to share. Any Lomio, Tabega, Tase Priashi, any Titola, any young woman would be so many to talk about. And now, any that Lomio came with that. Kingdom power to one, in the table some video some of this.
So as he came of age, he was given the traditional monastic education, and he received all kinds of lineage transmissions and teachings and initiations. But his education primarily was focused on the study of Buddhist metaphysics. So when he was when he was 25 years old, he sat for his Geshe Lhasa examination, now which would be the doctoral equivalent examination in the Tibetan Buddhist studies. And this is where thousands of monks from 3 great monastic universities of Tibet, Serat, Dibung, and Kandan, would assemble together, and all the great masters in the land of Tibet, the abbots and the great scholars, so they would be witnessing his